Hello, everybody. It's Dr. B and Elizabeth here, and we are going to give you some turkey time fun and holiday blues. You choose. Okay, we'll forget that introduction. Anyhow, we are here today to share some pearls of hopefully wisdom for you for the holiday season to pass on to your community members. We're going to look at some toys for the holidays, good developmentally focused toys. We're going to look at, excuse me, some food for thought, and we'll talk about what that is. And we were talking about avoiding sensory overload during this crazy time of the year. So Elizabeth is here to share her lovely turkey costume with you and wishing you all a happy, happy Thanksgiving. So with that said, we are going to let Elizabeth take a little snoozer while I hang out with you and give you a few pearls to think about for the holiday season. So first off, we're going to look at some toys. It is the season, right? We're going to be cruising right into December here in just a minute. And look for what is a developmentally appropriate, encouraging toy for those little fiddle farts. So first of all, let's unwind maybe a decade or two and let's talk about technology or not. We know that a lot of kiddos nowadays, technology is the thing, right? But it is very different for a growing and learning and developing brain to learn from a two-dimensional object, i.e. a screen, versus something 3D focused, like blocks and Legos and those type of different 3D tactile type play toys. So we want to think about that when we're talking about the learning, growing, thriving brain. I know it's you want to make that little fiddle fart happy and give them the technology gift of the year, but maybe you want to make mom and dad more happy or their future teachers more happy by giving them something more neurologically brain development focused. So with that said, think movement, okay? Not movement restriction. So things that are movement restrictive, i.e. sitting there playing on a tablet, that type of device, is not ideal for a growing and learning, developing brain. We want things that encourage movement, bikes, trikes, trampolines, those old-fashioned, like a physio ball with a handle on it that you can hop, okay? Things that require body control, postural control, movement, is actually what's going to help you focus on brain building. So think outside of the box. Excuse me. Think outside of the box when it comes to your toy choices. There's a good website called learningresources.com. And it's really fun because it breaks things down into age groups. It starts like at 18 months, and then it goes to 2 years, 3 to 4 years, 5 to 6 years, and up to 8 years old. And it breaks things down into imagination, into concentration, into sorting, into I think we said imagination. It breaks them into categories where you can choose a toy that might be appropriate for the little fiddle fart that you're trying to gift it to. So again, learningresources.com, great website to look at. Go back to your old-fashioned wooden toys. Melissa and Doug is a brand name. You can get them on Amazon. And they have some great toys. They have, in fact, I carry a lot of those in my office in my kids' corner. And they're some of the most well-received, looked-for toys. They have cars and trucks and all those in wooden, so they're wooden, non-toxic form. They have latch boxes. They're like boards that have latches on them that they have to open up the little door and find out what's behind them. These are all great learning resource toys that you should be thinking about. So as much as you want to go for that, the remote control car and the latest technology toy, maybe get one of those, but maybe lean more towards something that's going to allow for more brain activation. Okay, and so think moving trampolines, balance beams, skateboards. Again, get those kids out moving, get them outside. There's a thing called nature deficit disorder. True story. where we're not spending enough time as kiddos or adults out in nature. And nature is very calming. It upregulates serotonin and dopamine and all those chemicals needed for good brain development and brain connectivity. So get them moving, get them outside, and get them off the screen times. One other caveat there, I just read a paper last week that was really another one that just validates what we know on spending screen time versus doing time with reading and writing. But this particular paper looked at writing when kiddos in grade school actually wrote out assignments. Their brain had more activation and they were learning better than when they were on a computer typing. So these are all things we need to think about to help optimize a developing brain. So that's my thing for toys right there. Food for thought. So this is red dye rage season, right? From candy canes to, we'll be cruising into what's the heart holiday, Valentine's Day. All the red's going to be coming out in the next few months, right? So we have to worry about red dye 40, which can really light up the brain in not such a great way. So I call it red dye rage. So maybe offer some alternatives, have a little handout in stores in your town where parents can go and get alternative candy sources. There's places online you can order, but I'm sure there's health food stores in your town, in your community, where you can look at candy canes, chewies, things like that, Christmas holiday sorted candies without the dyes in them, with more natural coloring and flavoring. So, and if you yourself are handing anything out in your offices, please consider this as well. All right. Help parents to plan and prep. There's a lot of school parties, holiday parties, office parties, parties galore coming into this next 4 to 6 weeks or so. Help parents plan. If you yourself or anybody in your practice that has a special dietary needs, the big ones are sugar, dairy, gluten, right? And we all get liquored up, what I call it, during the holiday season. Maybe suggest that if they know they're going to a party or the kiddo's having a party in their classroom or what have you, is time. I know time is of the essence. A lot of people are on short fuses and short times. If they have to go to the store and get a pre-made up fruit tray or vegetable tray, something a little bit more wholesome without the sugar, dairy, gluten in it, and the dyes and the preservatives, and at least have something there that their kiddo can snack on, that they won't feel left out. Or if they're going to a family party or a friend's party or what have you, there's something there on the buffet tray table that is conducive to their dietary needs. Don't be afraid. Don't have your family members, your practice members be afraid to reach out to whoever's hosting the event to explain that, their family, they themselves, their kiddos, whatever the situation may be, has some dietary needs. And can they please bring a dish that everybody can enjoy, but that way they would know that there's something there that fits with their dietary needs and their dietary budget. So plan ahead, meal prep. And again, if it's time restriction, grab a vegetable tray, fruit tray, what have you, and do something like that. Call ahead. You'd be surprised if events are going to be had at a restaurant, at least in my town, not a big town, but it's a growing community. Many restaurants, if you call ahead and tell them there's a person or myself has dietary restrictions, a gluten allergy, a dairy allergy, what have you, they will have their chef prepared for you coming in that particular day. So don't be afraid to call ahead, call the restaurant ahead of time and say, hey, is there something that possibly we could fudge on the menu that will work with our dietary needs and our dietary restrictions? So again, planning is key. Don't be afraid to say no thanks. All right. It's okay, especially now the kiddos won't be doing this, what I'm going to tell you, but this is a big craze right now, is alcohol-free events or many adults refraining from alcoholic beverages. It's becoming a very big trend, especially in the college community, believe it or not. So, but what I have a lot of my adult patients say to me is they feel very awkward. They feel like they're letting people down when they go out and socialize at events, and now they're refraining from alcoholic beverages. It's okay. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to an event if it's not going to be conducive to your family and their needs, or your kiddos and their needs. It's okay to say no to a particular um, food or beverage at that event if it's not going to be for your ultimate good and your ultimate health. So let's start encouraging our community members that these are okay norms, um, in order for them to de-stress their nervous system during a very stressful holiday season. And you can explain to them, if we take some of these stressors off the system, this can help maximize their immune function as well. Because we see a lot of people during this time of the year getting sick, right? Because they're stressed out, they're eating a little bit less healthier, that inflammatory load goes up, and now they get sick. So explain that to your community members, and they're more likely like, I don't want to go down. I don't want to tank. I don't want to get sick. I don't want Johnny to get sick and miss having fun during family time on Christmas Day or what have you. And so they might be more akin to adopting some of these healthier habits. Okay, so we covered some toys to think about. We covered some food for thought. Now let's cover some calming strategies, some sensory regulating strategies. When you're on the way to an event, or your community members are on their way to an event, on the way to the mall, oh, for heaven's sakes, tons of sensory stimulation there, right? Teach them, give them little caveats of humming and singing on their way. They can sing Christmas carols, right? But humming and singing on their way to an event. That's going to help upregulate vagal tone, put the brake on the nervous system a little bit, and induce more of a calming before they walk into chaos. Okay. So a lot of deep pressure. Kiddos can do where they're humming and singing and they're in the back seat. They can do a lot of, push together, push hard, push. How hard can you push your hands together, and how hard can you pull them apart? Don't let them pull apart. A lot of deep proprioception, a lot of compressive load. I tell parents to do this before they go into a mall, in the car. Okay. Push your hands together, pull apart. And then mom or dad or kiddo does a lot of deep pressure and squeezing all the way up their arm, up and down about 3 times. I, in fact, have a lot of kiddos that come into my office and say, squeeze, please. They want to be calmed down before we start working on them. So proprioception is very calming and centering to the nervous system. It has about a 2-hour override window. So you get about 2 hours of bang for your buck when you add some deep proprioceptive input before going into chaotic environment. Vestibular input has about a 4-hour override window. So doing those kiddos that are low in vestibular input, that means they need it to regulate themselves in their environment. They're the ones that like to run around in circles and jump and spin and twirl and those type of things. They're craving that input. If we give that to them before we go into an environment where it might not be conducive, we give them that input first. Some spinning, some twirling, some swinging, those kind of things. It has about a 4-hour override window. So adding some of this sensory input that they might be craving before they walk into a chaotic environment can be very helpful. There's also a couple other tricks. Things like Under Armour, underwear that are very tight, that are kind of tight and snuggy, can add that proprioceptive input. And they actually have, for adults now and kiddos, when I started doing this work 30 years ago, it was only available for kiddos, but now you're seeing it available for adults as well. And those are weighted vests. You put them underneath their clothes. It's like it's like a weighted blanket, but it's a weighted vest that gives that grounding proprioceptive input. And they even have weighted sweatshirts and sweaters sometimes. So you can find these things, Amazon, of course, but so you can find it for kiddos as well as adults that want that extra pressure and grounding. One tip that you might give it away that this might be beneficial for a person is, especially your kiddos in the summertime, they might often like to wear hoodies all the time. No matter how hot it is, they're wearing a hoodie. It's because they like that snugger, tighter fit, that extra weight. Hoodies tend to be a little bit more weight dense, right? So if you have a person that likes that type of clothing a lot, this might give you the cue that, hey, they might benefit from a weighted sweatshirt, a weighted vest underneath their sweater, etc., to induce a calm environment within a chaotic environment, right? So those are some things. Sometimes fidget toys, like having a little fidget toy that the kiddo can put in their pocket. I had some around here, little scoopy things like this where they can play. I had some other ones. These are real popular where they have the little pushy uh, snap things, and they can just put it inside their coat pocket or their pants pocket or whatever, and they have something as a fidget toy just to calm themselves down. So there we have it. There are some, we've got some food for thought, we've got some calming strategies, and we've got some toys to think about. Again, movement is the name of the game, 3D versus 2D. And let's get those kiddos' brains back to building environments rather than sedentary tech environments, although I know you'll be tempted to do that. So again, from on behalf of myself and Elizabeth with her little turkey head down there, we wish you an amazing Thanksgiving, and we will see you in December. And ChiroSecure, thank you so much for allowing us to bring this information to the chiropractic community and to their communities for the ultimate good of the kiddos. We will see you in December.
Today's Pediatric show, Look to the Children, was brought to you by ChiroSecure.